Hello again, welcome back to the Fire Burns Within channel. Right, this is a thrash metal video roundup for 2020. Thrash metal is, I'd say, my third favourite genre of metal or rock music. My first favourite is power metal, power melodic, classic heavy metal. Then I like melodic rock, AOR, and then I like thrash metal, and then maybe death metal, and then modern, and then other types of rock metal. So thrash metal is a big love of mine. I love thrash metal. I've loved it for a long time. So anyway, these are my top 20 favorite thrash metal albums from 2020. Yeah, so I've got 3 honourable mentions as well, which I do need to mention first. They are Assassin, Bestia Immundis. Assassin is German thrash metal, very heavy, very cool. Next one is Onslaught, Generation Antichrist, from the UK, of course, a very cool band. Next is Quasar Born, a pill hard to swallow. Can't remember where these guys are from, but this is a really cool album. Very fast, very technical thrash metal. Okay, here's the top 20. And I'm going to be putting pictures on the side here of the covers, because thrash metal covers are one of my favourite things about metal albums, like in general. I mean, some other bands, their covers are not all that interesting. They are interesting in power metal as well, but in thrash metal the covers are just fun as well. So I'm going to be putting big covers here so you can see it right next to my big ugly face. Okay, in 20th place is Heathen, Empire of the Blind. US heavy thrash metal, very melodic as well, more melodic than most bands. Very cool album, this one. I really enjoyed this one. Yeah, it's maybe right, it comes in at the bottom end of my thrash list, but it's still very cool. I mean, these albums in my thrash list, I rated them, I would say I rate around 7.5 to 8, and these are the bottom end of the thrash list. So towards the end we're getting into the 8.5, 9, so on, and at that level. So there you have it, number 20. Number 19 is Wartooth, Programmed Dichotomy. I got my friend Brendan Von Doom to thank for this one. Yeah, this is a really cool band, Aussie thrash metal, very catchy, pretty technical sounding, very cool band. Well worth checking out. Number 18 is Sepultura and Quadra. Now, Quadra is a good album, good, solid. I think it could even be my favourite Derek Green era Sepultura album of all, because I don't really like many of them at all. I know he's had a lot of albums with Sepultura now since he took over from Max, and I really haven't liked most of them. The odd one is okay, but Quadra is solid. I mean, it's good. It's got cool riffs, cool ideas. Derek himself doesn't... I mean, I've never been a fan of Derek's voice, but he sounds quite good on this album. And there's some good inspired ideas as well in some of the songs. It's a cool album. I mean, I can't deny it. Number 17 is Testament, Titans of Creation. I know many people would have this a much higher ranking than what I've got it at, but I don't know. I think it's a really good, solid Testament album. I can't deny it, but for some reason it never really fully clicked with me. I just thought it was solid. I played it a lot at the beginning, and then towards the end of the year I wasn't really playing it anymore. So it was a good, solid album. It easily makes the 20, but slightly lower level than maybe a lot of people would put it. Number 16 is Shrapnel and Palace for the Insane. Shrapnel is a UK thrash metal band, very fast, very brutal. You know, they're very speedy. They're at the more like the brutal end of thrash. Rough vocals, not very clean at all, but still very cool. Too many cool riffs. A vast array of killer and cool riffs. Shrapnel, number 16. Number 15, I'm staying in the UK. It's Divine Chaos, The Way to Oblivion. This is a very cool effort. I mean, very nice riffs, pretty technical sounding. Vocals are pretty much death metal style, quite brutal. I mean, I don't really like overly brutal vocals when it comes to thrash, but I don't know. In Divine Chaos, I fully accept them. Like, the riffs are so good on their own that you can accept, you know, over the top death growling, even though, you know, it's not a favourite of mine. I would have preferred it a slightly less brutal vocal, but still very cool. Number 14 is just an EP. It's by a band called Fatal Punishment, self-titled EP. I don't really know these guys well. I think they're sort of like an indie band. I come across them on YouTube, but I was blown away by this. This is like Metallica worship around And Justice for All era, something like that. Very cool riffs, good melody, decent vocals. It's just an EP. I think 5 or 6 tracks, but very cool. Well worth checking out. Number 13 is another indie type band I just found on YouTube or Bandcamp, I think. I'm not sure which one. They're called Sarcato, and it's a self-titled album. Again, very fast. I love my thrash metal to be fast. I mean, it's got to be really ripping fast. And Sarcato is definitely that. So check out Sarcato. They're on Bandcamp. I think the whole album is probably on YouTube as well now. I'm not sure, but it should be. Number 12 is Reverbera, Sect of Faceless. I forget where these guys are from, but they're very much in the I think they're very much in the creator worship style, very much in that style. If you like creator, you're gonna love Reverbera. I think they're from Spain, if I'm not wrong, but well worth checking out. Sect of Faceless. If you're waiting for the next creator album, then go check out Reverbera. Number 11 is Gamora, Divine Judgment. This is a new band to me. I think they're from Switzerland, if I'm not wrong. Switzerland or Austria, one of the two. If I'm not, I haven't done my homework. I think it's Switzerland, if I'm not wrong. They're very cool. They're more melodic, a little bit more melodic. Not like severely fast like some of these other bands I've mentioned so far, but very cool, unknown, well worthy of some listening time for you thrashers out there. Check out Gamora and Divine Judgment. Okay, number 10 is Exa and Cut the Past. I think these guys are Germans, if I'm not wrong. I don't know them at all. Exa, EXA, it's a short name. The album is rock solid thrash metal, very cool riffs, cutting, slashing like riffs, blistering solos, I think raspy vocals from memory. Well worth checking out if you enjoy thrash metal of all kinds. I mean, just it'll please any thrasher. Number 9 is from the US of A, Skeleton Pit, Lust to Lynch. Skeleton Pit is a new band to me. I didn't know them before. This album is very sort of like old school feel, but it's also very sort of crossovery as well. It's got sort of like a slight hardcore feel, but not really hardcore. It's sort of thrashy, but it's because of the shout outs and the sort of some of the gang style vocals in the background. You get the crossover feel. So very cool, very crunching riffs, very fast, just great energy. I love energy, and this band Skeleton Pit has energy to spare. Okay, number 8 is a well-known thrash metal band. It's Havok and the V or 5 album. Everyone seems to love Havok. I mean, they're very cool, very technical. This time they're a little bit more sort of slowed down a touch compared to other albums. They're a bit more mid-pacey, a bit more groovy. They've still got the same sort of vocal, which is quite a harsh, raspy attack, which I do like, but I prefer a more defined sort of like shouty vocal, not so, you know, mean or harsh or, you know, severe sounding. But I fully accept the vocals. I mean, it's not a major issue. The riffs are just awesome, top class riffing, melodic as well. You know, a mix between, say, Metallica, Megadeth, Exodus, something like that. A big mix between these bands. Okay, number 7, a world famous band. It's Annihilator, Ballistic, Sadistic. Yeah, who doesn't love Annihilator? They're very rock solid. Jeff Waters, he's a rock solid riff merchant. His vocals are very good on this album. I mean, he's got a slight melodic edge, so it's just right up my street, because he's not trying to be over harsh or over you know, aggressive in the vocal. You can understand every word. The songs are catchy. He's got little like melodic interludes in the songs, which most bands don't use. So it adds much more depth to the music, much more memorability, if you like. So I'm sure everyone will pick Annihilator in their top thrash albums of 2020. They should do anyway. Number 6 is an unknown band. It's Mindtaker from Spain. The album is called Toxic War. This album really blew me away. It's a killer album. Too many killer riffs on this. Sharp, aggressive, fast, in your face, killer riffs. I mean, you really need to check out Mindtaker if you like your thrash metal. Number 5, I'm going to America. It's the band Hazard, and the album is Delirium. Again, this band is really catchy. The riffs are really cool. Really more melodic than a lot of bands. I mean, a lot of bands are blistering and fast, but Hazard uses more sort of like slightly catchier grooves, if you like. The vocals are still pretty harsh, pretty raspy, pretty acidic, pretty in your face, but the riffs are really catchy, really awesome. So well worth checking out Hazard and Delirium. Okay, the top 4. In 4th place is Warfact and Spectre of Devastation. I forget where these guys are from now, but these guys are just speed infested, brutal, fast thrash metal. They really rip it up. I mean, you know, put the pedal to the metal, these guys. These guys just whip up a storm. I mean, I just love their energy. Every song is relentless, in your face, fast as hell thrash metal. I mean, Warfact, definitely well worth checking out. Okay, the top 3. In 3rd place is Gamma Bomb and Sea Savage. Northern Irish boys, Gamma Bomb, they're on a roll. They've been delivering great albums for a good while now. This album is really a cool album. The production is awesome. It's crystal clear. It's not like trying to be too heavy. It's very punchy, very clear. The vocalist is very clear. He's singing slightly goofy songs. They've always been a slightly goofy band, you know, slightly comedic band, if you like. But I just love that style anyway. I mean, I love a little bit of comedy in my thrash metal. It doesn't bother me that they're not 100% serious all the time. But the riffing is 100% serious. I mean, it's seriously heavy, seriously catchy. Very cool. Gamma Bomb and Sea Savage. Okay, in 2nd place is Alito and the album Alito 2. I forget these guys where they're from. I think it's Slovenia or is it Slovakia? I'm not sure. They're Eastern Europe somewhere. One of the Eastern Bloc countries. Maybe Serbia, I think. I'm not sure now. Could be Serbia. But anyway, these guys are just awesome. Awesome. Technical thrash, these guys. These guys play proper, heavy, technical thrash metal. No messing about. Very melodic, very tight, very catchy. Even the vocalist is sometimes singing clean, sometimes singing shouty, rough, but adding a little bit of melody, which always helps the songs to become more memorable the more you play them. Alito 2, this album is highly recommended. It's a really catchy, melodic, technical thrash metal album. Okay, but the number one thrash metal album of 2020, I've already mentioned it in my full album list, and it makes it as the number one thrash metal album. It's the Aussies, Harlot, Detritus of the Final Age. I just love these guys. These guys are insanely good. I mean, their technical ability is like almost second to none. Their memorability in the riffs is just perfect. I mean, they just know their way around the fretboard like no one's business. The singer is rock solid tight, spitting out fast lyrics, not overly brutal again, bit screamy, but not like over the top savagery, you know, not really heavy like say in a band like Divine Chaos where he's really growly. The Shrapnel guy is really aggressive as well, but in Harlot he's like, you can understand most of the words because he sings them very cleanly. The songs are really memorable, really catchy. The riffs are just banging, super banging riffs. A killer thrash metal album. I'm sure most thrashers out there will have heard Harlot, and if you haven't, well, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's just a killer band. The last few albums have been killer. This one is killer. That's the word for this video. Okay, there it was. My top 20 thrash metal albums of 2020. Okay, stay tuned.